Hello everyone, my name is VivianJade, the trained unprofessional. Sorry, I thought about the way the world's going for a second. You can't think about it too much. Let's play a furry game. Take your minds off things. Whoo! Okay, so this is Khemia. This is the rework of it all. I don't know how much is different. The website, the itch page, which you'll note is not the link in the description for this. This is the link in the description is going to be for the Patreon page. Ever since the Epic Games Google Play Store fucking whatever the hell a few years back, the itch links made everything freak the fuck out a bit. So ever since then, they don't like itch links being in the description, so I've been linking to the Patreon pages. So if you're wanting to play this, you'll find the link in the description to the Patreon page for Echo Project. From there, you can find the link to the itch page to find the download for this game. It is free, but you can support it financially if you can and if you so choose. It's complicated, but I promise you can figure it out if you can figure out a YouTube page. Also, if that's gotten fixed, please tell me, because I would much rather just link to the itch page. Because it's so fucking stupid that whole thing happened in the first place. But anyway, so the itch page says that the writing, the art, the UI, all got a rework and an update. And so that, to me, sounds like it could either be just like a superficial update, or that everything's completely different. Also, that the update that's currently public covers up until what was already available before it went on hiatus, which is up until they reach Khemia. So it seems to also be covering the same thing. So maybe it's the same, maybe it's different. I really have no fucking clue. One thing that is cool is the little Echo Project sting that happens at the beginning when you boot up the game. Is the Echo Project like flash of the different games that all the Echo Project games show. It is a Dash game theme specific, which I thought was pretty cool. I like that detail, especially since now Echo Project has sprawled out so much. I liked that it's thematic. That's a nice little detail that they've done there. I like that a lot. I guess I should also acknowledge that I have not played all of Interia, so if there is something that this will reference from Interia, I haven't played it, so I don't know if it's going to be brought up or not. I'll have missed it. I do think I'll probably go back and play it, but I've got so much I need to catch up with all the other games I'm trying to play that playing a game that comes across like it's just a filler arc, probably not the most enticing, but people seem to like it, so I probably will, but I don't know, and I don't know why I'm doing this voice, so I'm gonna just stop that now. So yeah, I probably will. Either way, I'll shut up now. Does it have my old save file? No, it doesn't. Well then, if it doesn't have what I did before, time to do what I'm gonna do now. Let's do this shit. I have no idea what the voices I did for everything was before, and that's not what I should be paying attention to. I barely remember what happened last time either. But if it got reworked, then it shouldn't matter, right? I lay back in the cool blackness of my mind, listening to the voices banter. He must be. I can hear him from here. Are you sure it is him that you hear? Pretty sure. Dark bluish fur, cream-colored front, ear tips, and muzzle. You just described 500,000 wolves on it, Astra. Corrective lenses as well. It's nice. A sort of half meditation that my mindfulness teacher once taught me several years ago. Thoughts that come unbidden to the mind are not uncommon during meditation, though this time it's quite different. Usually the thoughts don't have a clear purpose and offer little insight, unless one delves into implied and likely non-existent meanings. So what's your explanation? That I'm going crazy? It wouldn't be the first time. No, just that you should be more careful when trying to reach that far. The mind can often be one massive illusion to its owner, especially concerning non-tangible matters. Now, they very much have a purpose, speaking about me. Still, it helps to calm my mind, pull it inward from the outward chaos. It helps me forget the responsibilities that rest upon my shoulders. They mainly rest on my mentor's shoulders, but in turn, he rests upon mine. His mind, it's not sound, it's been altered. That's common. That's a common feature for those like you. I frown, feeling as if these voices are being rather rude now, but I try to avoid the distraction. Focus. Instead, I admire the way that I'm able to isolate my mind in a place such as this. For many months afterward, setting foot within these walls, or even on campus grounds, would fill me with such dread I simply could not function properly. Now I imagine that incident, a sphere of suffocating and shock, to be in a different place in time and space, floating in nothingness. Ahawawi. I feel it. I feel my focus all falter again, hearing what vaguely sounds Khemian, almost like the word for pain. The altered suffix indicates something less solid, more ethereal. See, he hears me. Do not alert him to our presence. So now you believe me. Besides, he's already alert, he's just ignoring us. Like I said, he's gifted, but fine. You can relax, I'll stop. Focus. I instead ponder on why my mind might be thinking of pain. And then imagery, visceral and vivid, flashes through my mind's eye. Those events are 3 years behind me now. Not only that, but the point in space in which the riots occurred is billions of kilometers behind me. That small sphere drift in time and space. A dark void that I shall never return to. And it continues to move away as our galaxy spins through the ever-expanding universe. The halls of the university are only an illusion of a constant space. Rather, we are at a different point in the universe every moment we exist, whether that be at home, school, or on a diplomatic mission to Khemia. Therefore, I am free from that moment and that place. Now I am in a clean space, and that's true for every moment I exist. That's exactly the kind of space I need to exist in mentally, especially if I want to keep this assignment. The type of assignment I've wanted my whole life. The exact one if I'd known such an opportunity would exist. A sound mind is one of my most important assets. The past is in the past, and yet the framing of the space is constant. The marble, the statues, the lecture halls. These were all here when it happened, and they are here now. So is it really clean? Stone does not live, therefore it cannot witness. It cannot be corrupted like the mind of sapience. But is that even true? I realize my meditation is veering off course, but it is easy to be distracted when you're lying on a marble bench and your head is beginning to ache. It follows him. I know. My concentration is broken by the strange, now ominous thoughts, and I sigh, knowing I should send a message about this to my mindfulness instructor, but I won't. Because my mission is far too close now. And I doubt uncontrolled thoughts will look good in any briefing to my superiors. I begin the process of grounding, rubbing my paws over the cool, polished marble. Have these marble benches and pillars, the facade of this building, witnessed and absorbed the lives that spoke and moved around them before now? If so, then simply distancing myself from a point in space is useless as the objects most important to that event continue to exist nearby. The idea of buildings possessing a character, conscience, isn't my own. Over a year ago, my instructor in architecture had said that long-lasting structures assume identities more distinct than the people who build them. Especially as time we witnessed it. We saw you bleed because of them. Hey, look at that. I open my eyes, my fur bristling and my breath hitching before I hold it, listening. But all I hear are maybe leaves blown by the wind outside, an echo of what the voice had sounded like. I'm disturbed by that voice, much different from the first two I had been hearing. More worryingly, the thought had been so loud and clear, I thought it had to have been spoken by someone, until I opened my eyes and found the room empty. In fact, I pinpointed to the statue right in front of me, the one of the spy Antonia, crouching on a pedestal. A strange, dark feeling enters my mind as I frown, staring at it. I'd certainly heard something from that direction, like a whisper, and though I try to prevent it, my mind wanders to a more pup-like state. There is no question that this university is filled with unamalgamated spirits, and even in the bright morning light that pours through the windows, Antonia appears eerie to me. Her most famous deed was being an asymptomatic carrier of Lucius fever, while a prisoner on Khemia, the outbreak killing hundreds of thousands, a death toll worse for the jackals than any of the battles waged during the war. If any statue is haunted, it is likely hers, and as I move to sit up, she seems to follow me with her gaze. Not just her eyes, but her head as well. And it's so distinct that I have to... Scipio! Oh, God. I leap into the air, stumbling away from the sudden voice and movement. Veteris, why do you shout? Man, the art in these games have adapted so much. Not only in visual novels in general, but Adastra games specifically. If I'm not mistaken, let me double check here. Okay, so I guess we won't get credits until the end. I know he blocked me over the whole Far Beyond the World stuff, but if the main sprite artist is still Haps, I gotta say that the fucking art is improved so fucking much. Because looking at the sprite art from the original Adastra, it wasn't ever bad, but it had that, like, scrappy sketch style that was not, like, AAA style, but it definitely looked like it was its own thing. But here, just this style, like, this almost looks like it comes out of, like, Paper Mario. Like, this looks like... looks almost like the kind of art for like the bushy eyebrowed Goomba from Petalburg. You know what I'm saying? Like the lines are smooth, the shading is smooth, the colors are vibrant, the pattern on the sash is neat, the scrolls are round, but it also has a distinct characteristic to it all that makes it seem alive, and it's just fun, and it looks like its own kind of character, and I look forward to seeing the expressions on the more animated characters because I imagine that they're going to look lively too. So, like, it's not as sketchbooky as the earlier ones, while remaining still uniquely of the style of the artist. So, yeah, despite, the remnants of past dramas, I'm still willing to give credit where credit is due. The art is gotten so fucking good over the years, and I'm very proud to, I hate the fucking phrase, give the flowers to Haps. I'd prefer give credit where credit is due. Yeah, very much happy to see it.
Am I shouting? I consider this to be a perfectly reasonable volume. I suppose my advancement in age only continues, and you must learn to live with it.
I rub my chest, looking over at the statue as that strange dark feeling slowly dissipates.
You did not wait for me at the entrance to this forest this morning, thus my journey was rather dull.
You find me all that interesting? I banish the disturbed thoughts from my mind for now, turning my back to the statue of Antonia.
Well, I do now that you've managed to capture the full attention of the flower jackal over the past few months. He is most interesting.
Yet you insult him in the same breath. Of course that was the reason, considering our conversations always turn toward the jackal.
He is a jackal and a flower. What of it?
He is a Khemian, and his name is Neferu.
Even Khemians have the boundaries of gender. A jackal seems just as happy to be treated as a woman as he is a man.
I bite my tongue, feeling the chasm between our differences in age widen just a bit further. Veteris was once thought of as a leading social progressive back in the days that Amicus's father, Emperor Potus, ruled. Now, with Amicus on the throne, much has changed, and the current emperor is quite popular among wolves in my age demographic. Not so much with Veteris's.
As much as I enjoy your conversations on topics such as the latest Khemian fashions and imported amusement tech, I was actually asked by Amicus to discuss a few things with you.
I feel a falling feeling in my chest, wondering if I've done something wrong. 2 years ago, Veteris had picked his top 3 students of Khemian history, language, and culture to train and compete to become his assistant and backup for the mission. I had become one of them, and just last week I was officially chosen by both Amicus and Veteris. This despite the fact I was solidly middling between the 2 other students in our academic marks. Carbo should have been the one to go, able to speak almost unaccented Khemian, and he always knew the answer about Khemian history. I had realized that no matter how much I studied, he would always be ahead. My recent, almost desperate attempts to stand out had ended up paying off. When I'd been chosen, I was certain it was a dream, and now I wonder if reality is about to catch up with me. It had probably been clear over the past few years that my mind hasn't always been in the present.
Let us discuss this in your study, Scipio. It's so very close by.
I nod and follow, trying to keep my expression neutral so as to avoid embarrassment, no matter which way this discussion leads. He is a small. He is a small. He's a very small. Oh, we're being obscured. We're being obscured. And look at Abacus is up in the corner. Damn, this is a very detailed CG. Like, the CGs can be, like, very stylized. This has just got a lot of fucking detail to it. Good gorsh. And is that shield a Zelda reference? I don't know for sure. I despite once having Link in my username explicitly because of Legend of Zelda, I have not beaten a single Legend of Zelda game. Damn. That is one detailed ass fucking CG. Anyway, sorry. Veteris looks over the stacks of books and papers, the bridge of his aged muzzle wrinkling slightly, the graying fur bristling.
Honestly, Sepia, how often do I need to tell you that your clutter directly reflects your mind? If you're feeling overwhelmed, cleaning up your workspace is the first step.
I wince, and I can't stop the blush from spreading across my own muzzle. We are very different in this regard as well. I've been to Veteris' residence on a handful of occasions, and while his study was indeed clean, the rest of it was not. Maybe it's a representation of the one aspect of his life that he has in order. Having abandoned his personal life before becoming an instructor. My study, which often doubles as my sleeping quarters after being selected 2 years previously, is one usually reserved for assistant instructors. And it's a bit more than cluttered.
And must you always light incense? At least pick a different scent than Oliban. It reminds me of my grandmother.
I hadn't been expecting that comment, and being caught completely off guard, I stumble for words, but I'm saved from having to make up a reason by the Imperial computer assistant. Oh my god. No. My original Adastra playthrough was kind of plagued by my computer voice. People either... I feel like people who liked the computer voice mostly ironically liked it. They liked how bad it was. I don't want to fully say that because I'm sure there was some people who actually liked it, but there were definitely people who didn't. But, I mean, that's the voice, so I gotta stay consistent. But after this video goes out, let me know for sure, and I'm gonna take you at face value. And I'll go from there. Good day, CPO. No, it's still bad. Would you like your usual brunch? No, thank.
Yes, bring it. You need to begin taking care of yourself more now that you're going to be a diplomat, and that involves eating regularly.
Despite Veteris sounding strangely like my mother for a moment, it immediately sets me at ease knowing he wouldn't say that if I were being dropped from the mission. And as I see a drone descend from the ceiling with bread and sauce, I feel my appetite return.
Now do you see why you were picked to accompany this mission?
I try to think of a reason that won't make me sound too egotistical. My knowledge on Khemia, especially the youth culture there? Veteris waves his paw.
Oh, please, you Khemian youth culture.
Veteris says the word with twice the emphasis and half the speed as the others.
Doesn't matter. Besides, Carbo knows more than you.
I blush, even though it's completely true and fair even though it's a true, fuck me. I blush even though it's a completely true and fair statement. The only other reason that comes to mind might be my relationship to Neferu.
And Brunis. You cultivated casual Khemian friendships with them with very little effort.
Of course. I did know that forming some type of relationship with the actual Khemians we have here was important. Over the past year, I've made time to speak to them after each of our meetings, making sure to casually greet them and engage in casury? Casury? I don't think that needs to be a word of the day, because I can guess what that means, which I knew Veteris and Amicus took notice of. While Carbo usually had his nose in a book, I was talking to real Khemians in a casual and friendly way. I wouldn't say that I know them as well as the few wolves I've considered my friends over the years, but I needed some type of advantage over Carbo. I had felt bad at the time, remembering his expression of confusion and disbelief as he left the Imperial Palace after being dismissed from his current duties. But really, I know his future as a prestigious scholar is almost guaranteed, and at the very least, the stresses of this mission are now over for him. Now it seems like I need to focus even more on interacting with these Khemians. And it only makes sense considering the main mission is to expand Adastra's relations with Khemia.
Where did you learn to do that, by the way?
Veteris eyes me curiously as I arrange the plate amongst the scatterings of books and Khemian tech. I mean, it's not difficult. You simply...
It is very difficult for a wolf. Casual friendships only create opportunity for casual betrayals. However...
He glances at me from under his bushy brows.
It provides opportunity for the casual gathering of intelligence as well.
I feel my stomach turn again. Despite knowing this would be a part of my assignment as a diplomat, it doesn't mean I'm eager to do it. Still, the topic hadn't ever really come up, and with the departure date apparently nearing faster than expected, I had hoped that I would somehow be exempt. You want me to spy? I say it evenly in a way I hope doesn't betray the hesitance and lack of confidence I feel.
Amicus would simply like for you to keep an eye on them. As we know by now, Khemian bluntness is a myth. We can never be sure of their true intentions.
While the feeling of friendliness I have toward the Khemians are genuine, I remind myself that I did become their friend with the main purpose of personal gain, along with the knowledge that I would be reporting anything of importance they said. I must admit that academia is my strong point, Veteris. I'm not sure
you accepted the position of a diplomat. Thus, you accepted the responsibility to gather intelligence for your emperor. It is important for your many responsibilities. Oh, it is part of your many responsibilities now. Did I say that right? It is part of your many responsibilities now. Whatever.
Of course, teacher. Whatever you say. But where do I even start? I'm not trained in espionage. Shouldn't there be more time for me to train for such a thing?
Don't ask me. I'm simply a part-time teacher and full-time advisor to the Emperor on Khemian politics and culture. He only wanted me to prepare you mentally.
It feels like a completely different discipline. Veteris waves his paw again.
The reason you are not formally trained in spying is because this type of spying is merely information gathering through individual relationships and larger networks.
That makes me feel a bit better. I see.
As far as I know, the real spies, who I imagine are being trained now, though again I wouldn't know, come along with once regular relations have been established. In the meantime, this casual espionage will do. Keeping your enemies close, as they say, and no, I am not saying they're enemies personally, but you understand.
I think as I chew on the bread slowly, the tangy sauce reminding me of how hungry I am.
Do you feel you're up to the task? A target like Neferu should be a lucrative one.
Hey, there he is! There's the us. I smile. And what a smile it is. Look at us. Seriously, no, look at us. This is what I mean. This is so full of life. Like, of course, we're another, like, buff as fuck Wolfman, but like, seriously. If you just compare this to a different CG in an earlier entry in this series, the shading, the evenness of the expression without losing a scrap of the personality, the light, the color vibrance, it is night and day without changing any of the recognizability. It is so much better. I'm so proud of the fucking artist. Seriously. I don't give a damn. Personal feelings be what they are. Personal achievement's personal achievement. Way to hell to go. Way to hell to go. I smile. Yes, I fucking do. Of course. I did accept the position, like you said. However, Neferu is smarter than he'd have you believe. I doubt he'll give away anything important.
Oh no, that jackal's head is full of sand. Even the Emperor has publicly said so.
I know that it most definitely isn't, but I suppose that's why I'm the one who's meant to spy on him. And Brunus is even more guarded. He's a trained negotiator and seasoned diplomat. Veteris laughs at me.
It is informal and coarse nature, I doubt it. But remember, Neferu is the main target.
Now I have to stop myself from laughing at my own mentor. Have you not considered that they are planting them so as to spy on us? That gives my teacher pause. Then he shrugs.
If they are, then there are some serious issues in the uppermost echelons of Khemian power. Besides, everyone knows the Pharaoh sent them here as some form of punishment. I mean, he hates his son so much he sent him to live in the same palace with a general from the last war. A general that would unsurprisingly kick his balls into orbit.
I sigh, feeling sorry for the jackal like I always do when I remember that event, immortalized by drone footage.
A reminder that your meeting with the Emperor begins in approximately 10 minutes. Please be present and ready in Lecture Hall 1.
Jesus, that voice is bad for long lines. And in general, Veteris watches me as I eat the rest of the loaf of bread quickly.
Also start becoming more conscious of what you consume, and consider some exercise.
The dude is ripped! He's got washboard abs and huge pecs! But okay, he needs exercise. He needs exercise like I need, I don't know, many fucking things. That ruins the analogy. Fuck it, whatever. The jackal seems
to lean towards fit body types. You're fine as you are now, but you're nearing the age where it might start to slip.
That almost makes me choke, hoping my ears don't betray the embarrassment I feel at hearing my mentor say such things about my own body. Especially considering he was the one to insist that I eat in the first place. And there he goes. And we're back in the hall. 10 minutes later, I'm in the lecture hall with Veteris, along with Amicus, Neferu, Brunus, and Virginia. These bi-weekly meetings feel very different now that my two peers are gone. Me being the youngest and least important part of the Envoy is made all the more obvious. But aside from that, business progresses as usual. It's a rather casual affair, if not a depressing one, due to Ad Dastra's lack of progress with Khemia. Not much can get done at this point unless Khemian equivalents to Amicus show up on the stretch drive to make the decisions in person. That hasn't happened in months, and while Neferu is certainly important, he isn't as important as his brother, the Vizier. So instead, we discuss how wolvish society and culture should approach its various Khemian counterparts. I'm paying fairly close attention, as the topic is about diplomatic language. How on Khemia, one must always use words, never fists, as Khemians see the latter as a sign of weakness and lacking control. But then Amicus and Neferu argue for a while about how wolves must learn to separate diplomatic language from outright lies, which Amicus argues is the same thing. Oh my god. What the fuck? Holy shit, hold up. Jesus. Okay, well, first of all, they evened him out. Because before, he always seemed to be hunched over. So they evened him out. Jesus. Good God. He's huge. I mean, he was already huge. But like, God damn. I don't know why, but like, he always seemed to like be sort of like this top heavy kind of guy before. Now he gives the impression that he's big all around, even though, you know, obviously we can't see his legs, but like, because he's so high up on the screen, especially considering that fucking Jesus, I don't even remember his fucking name. He was literally just on this, like, before the fucking mentor guy barely went above the text box. Like, Jesus, he's fucking ginormous. We still also can't see his ring, which I remember being a thing in the last build. Like, where the fuck is his ring? Like, that was years ago. And I remember being this whole thing, oh, we'll fix it. Where the fuck is his ring, dude? Like, maybe it's just covered up on his other hand. Here's hoping, but like, I don't see a ring. It's been years, man. I don't know. We'll wait until he moves around, and maybe it's just covered up.
Especially as times change, our needs change. Therefore, some promises cannot be kept.
Holy shit, Neferu! Oh my god, his face has gotten squished. Like, a lot of the sprites before had him like looking off to the side. We didn't get a lot of face on, like straight on looking. Ah, Jesus. But man, just looking at these two, like they look so like ironed out. Like, their proportions are even. I feel like I'm going on about that a lot. Like, before, the proportions were kind of off. But like, everything's evened out. The eyes are even. And they're not all bug-eyed like they were before. Oh my goodness. I don't know. It's weirdly less cartoony. It's good. I don't want to say it's missing something. It's different. It's definitely different. It's still really nice. It's definitely really appealing in a lot of ways. Man, anyway. Yes, but one unkept promise can be enough to ruin a generation. An adversary, or even an ally that does not hold up their part of the bargain, no matter the change in times, is branded unreliable, and relations are unlikely to progress in any form. I find myself agreeing with Neferu, even though I would never ever say such a thing out loud, especially not here.
Earth report number 134 has arrived. Shall I brief you on its contents, Emperor Amicus?
Nice. That's a nice little thing, to see him getting reports about Earth. That's cool. That's cool. It'd be cool to see, which, like, ending is considered canon in this. Or maybe it's left open. Is it the one world government ending, or is it the, sad as fuck ending? Or is both of them considered the sad ending? I don't know. Is it the conspiracy ending? Is it the left alone in a room ending? I don't know. Their argument interrupted, Amicus pauses, then gives a terse yes as a response, likely knowing the news would not be good. It rarely is when coming from Earth. Earth. The planet I had only learned of last week after being chosen, along with the ongoing efforts to integrate its humans into the Galaxius. The human who had once resided in the palace is on his own mission, trying to bring the parents' vision to fruition. I'm curious about them, but this part of the mission is not for me to know, only having been introduced to the concept so Amicus can think about it and discuss it freely. So I lower my eyes as the briefing begins, yet I'm still able to feel Amicus's mood darken.
You will recall that 3 days ago...
Fuck it. Fuck it. Damn. The voice is not great. You will recall 3 days ago, after the deaths of 3 American diplomats who came into contact with the human, it had been discovered that he is sporadically shedding aviapox virus. What? Okay, so the main character from the first game has bird flu. Unfortunately, there have been further developments in which one of the diplomats visited an establishment that serves food and beverage. 4 British officials were infected by this diplomat, and all subsequent perished the past few days. The human has been placed in quarantine, and talks between nations have come to a halt for the time being. Our character from the first game is in fucking quarantine. Jesus Christ. Okay, so the canon ending is the fucking Mira ending. The one where we're supposed to try to integrate the fucking one world government into the Galaxius. I'm going mad! I'm going mad! Ah! Holy fuck! Okay, hold it together, folks. You're doing fine. Okay. The United States of America, the United Kingdom of Great Britain, and Northern Ireland have jointly threatened to withdraw from the talks if there are further casualties. They would do that. However, there appears to be no further spread of the virus at this time, likely due to the rapid onset of symptoms, and so far 100% mortality rate in humans. I don't understand many of the Earth words, but I understand enough. How can aviapox be so lethal to these humans? No other primates we know of have trouble with it. And these threats to end talks of being part of the Galaxius, how frustrating that 2 states can halt an entire world from progressing. Oh my god! Oh! Jesus fucking Christ, I'm gonna fucking have a heart attack. I'm quietly relieved that the hard borders of our past are over now, at least. Man, that sounds nice. Oh, hey, Amicus, how are you doing? Amicus grumbles under his breath.
How could they be so goddamn stupid?
That wasn't grumbling. Sorry. Feeling a little bit too much. I need to take a break for a second. Cut to when I'm calm. Fuck. I'm calm. I'm fine. At first, I wonder if he's talking about the humans, which I find unfair. Then I realize he might be speaking of the parents, which I find terrifying. Then he raises his voice. Do we know of any sapiens that can contract aviapox and retain contagions after initial infection? No, Emperor Amicus.
I'm not an expert on infectious diseases by any means, but considering how little we know of the effects of the virus on humans, anything could be possible. Yes, and due to parental negligence, he's in quarantine. I'm beginning to think we need to bring him back. Like back here, back home.
Amicus almost shouts. If my fear of the parents wasn't obvious before, now it is, my eyes wide open.
The parents do work in the most mysterious by making my human appear as if he was a bioweapon. What the hell are they playing at?
We witnessed it. I remember a rustle of leaves and quickly steer my mind away from what I had heard on the bench. Virginia, who had been silent through most of the discussion, clears her throat. Hey, look at you! She got a fucking glow up, god damn. Unfortunately, Amicus, we know the parents are not able to foresee all things. We can only fulfill our own duties and on our own plane of existence. Amicus takes a deep breath, sighing loudly. I know his relationship with the human is close. Everyone knows this based on what we saw during his fight with Cato, though how close is widely different depending on who you ask. It's clear he's more rattled than I have ever seen him, though, his paws shaking on his knees. Speaking of which, you had something to announce to our envoy before the Empire as a whole, correct?
Did I?
Virginia sighs.
Oh, right. I'm sorry, sister. The parental catastrophe on Earth had me slightly distracted.
Again, I feel an ominous cloud over us, as if the parents themselves had entered the room in disapproval.
As you all know, our discussions with the Vizier and Pharaoh have stalled over the past few months. To show Khemia that Adastra is truly dedicated to an alliance.
Amicus swallows as if he's having trouble getting the words out of his throat.
I will also be joining the Envoy, despite the many hardships it will bring to our empire. I do believe the benefits will outweigh the cost. Khemia has accepted my request.
Oh, look at him. Look at that. The art is upgraded so much. Sorry. So you'll be joining us? I'm surprised. Even I wouldn't have given in to Father's pompous and unreasonable demands so easily. Having Amicus with us changes the dynamics of the entire mission, and while reassuring, knowing my Emperor will be there the entire time just makes it all a bit more stressful.
Talks have been stalled for 3 months, Neferu. Anyway, during this time, Virginia will fill the role of acting Empress. Now my muzzle is hanging open, if only because it's the first time I've heard such words put together. Veteris visibly blanches, while Neferu and Brunus barely react at all. I quickly snap my mouth closed. Thank you, my Emperor. I will perform my duties in a way that honors both the Empire and you, brother. You always do, Virginia. This means we should all keep in mind the fact that departure could occur any day now, depending on when the ship arrives.
I almost gasp and instead disguise it with a stifled cough. The last few meetings had indicated a fast approaching departure, but the possibility that it could be only days or even a day away causes my heart to pound in my chest. I calm myself, remembering that my task is rather simple, no need to be anxious. At least all my tasks not involving Neferu anyway.
Now I must be off to have a discussion with the parents once again, to make sure we're actually still on some sort of track.
It's dark by the time we're heading out. On the way, Amicus corners me to covertly ask if I had a discussion with Veteris, which I confirm. And then the Emperor glances over at Neferu, who is leaning up against a pillar. I take the hint, and as everyone else leaves, I approach the jackal, suddenly feeling nervous. Likely because I have ulterior motives now, and that doesn't feel good. But I know if I am to perform my role well, I shouldn't be feeling any difference at all. Oh, hello there, chosen one. Usually it is me that approaches you, is it not? Something catching your eye? His fucking paw, his beans are puffy. I try to work out if it's a normal thing Neferu would say. If that's a normal thing Neferu would say, deciding that my boldness must be causing him to act even more forward than normal. I shrug as casually as possible. Well, considering that my role is now certain, I thought we should better acquaint ourselves. Is that so? Well, how do you think we could best do that? The tone in Neferu's voice has its usual playful tint, but with an underlying pointedness that makes me flush just a bit under my fur. Well, I sidestep his theatrics and games for now, realizing that taking the lead is too far out of my character when interacting with Neferu. Do you have any interesting plans for the night? Maybe you can help me better understand the Khemian way of things? That would be rather difficult to do here on Adastra, but as for plans, not particularly. Hey, there's Brunus. Damn, look at his fucking arm. That's got to be a bitch to make sprites for, but damn, that is cool. I feel like the older one looked less like that. That's fucking cool.
Hey, ready to go now? Oh, hey there, Skip.
Skip? Oh, yeah. Hello, Brunus? I'm at least able to avoid wincing now whenever they use the pet name for it. I feel like I went through this exact thing last time. Is it Scipio as opposed to Scipio? Oh, shit. I feel like Scipio just doesn't sound right. But if that's what it's supposed to be, I'm going to keep saying Scipio until... Oh, God. I'm going to keep saying it as Scipio for the rest of this recording. But if it is supposed to be Scipio, someone confirm it for me in the comments. But I feel like this is pretty much confirming it as it's supposed to be Scipio, which makes me sad because that does not sound as good as Scipio. But yeah, I like how they made a divot line in Neferu's ass for his wrapping there. That's just the fine detail I expect in my art. My visual novel art. That depends, Brunus. Firstly, I was meaning to ask Skip if he would like to visit a den with me. I blink. That's not exactly something you say loudly in such a quiet and hollow, echoing room. I had been on the verge of simply asking if I could join the two of them and make my attempt to fill my new role less conspicuous. It's also something he'd never asked me, despite his notoriously promiscuous reputation. Is it because I'm now guaranteed? What the fuck does that mean? Would he have asked the same of Carbo? Imagining that bookish wolf in this situation is unimaginable. I can at least say I'm experienced visiting a den with a partner. Well, all right then, have fun, you two. The giant creature doesn't wait for my response before turning and heading out, leaving me alone with Neferu in the empty university. He's still waiting on an answer. In fact, during my university days, if I become friendly with another attractive wolf, male or female, we would have usually made stops at taverns or entertainment venues before possibly ending up in a den. It was a weekly occurrence during my first few years attending this school, and yet my heart flutters like I'm 10 years younger, about to experience a den for the first time. Yes, I'd like to. Wonderful. I feel embarrassingly warm at the idea of a Khemian finding me attractive enough to bring me to a den, and I quickly remind myself of my mission. Whether or not I find the jackal charming or attractive matters not. I have a job to do. Neferu offers me his arm as if escorting me. There's an establishment in the Clay District we can go to. Ah, the Clay District? The surprise and hesitation in my voice was obvious. Sorry, would you rather go somewhere else? It's simply somewhat close by, but I don't want to make you uncomfortable if you have a problem with that place. Well, it's more the place that has a problem with me. They're not fond of the elite. The elite. The elite. I say it with some feigned exasperation. Not really feeling elite in any way, but I raise a paw to my mane, flipping the fur there casually. Oh, yes. Apologies for not remembering. Maybe we can catch up to Brute. Sensing Neferu pulling back from the initial offer, I place a paw on his pawford arm. It's been a while since any so-called elite have been attacked in the streets. Besides, I'm curious as to what it might be like, considering you want to go. I give Neferu a chance to explain, but he simply smiles at me. I'll keep you safe either way.